After the 2018 NBA Draft Lottery, the Sacramento Kings found themselves landing the number 2 pick in the draft. With DeAndre Ayton being a sure number 1 pick for the Phoenix Suns, many people expect the Sacramento Kings to take on the EuroLeague star Luka Doncic. According to the draft experts, his style of play is very similar to players such as Toni Kukoc or Hedo Turkoglu. Here are some of the strengths and weaknesses of the potential star. So what's most impressive about his game is the maturity and the polish and completeness of his game at just age 19. Basically from all standpoints. As a 6'8" shooting guard, he already has a solid body ready to compete at the NBA level with a wide frame, quite developed from a muscular standpoint, both his upper and lower body. He has shown a remarkable amount of pro moves and amazing body control during his seasons with Real Madrid. His game is already defined and complete with the ability to create his own shot basically in any kind of situation. Mid-range game, layups, floaters, three-pointers are all effective part of his offensive repertoire. Furthermore, his court vision and ball handling skills are above average, with the ability to create for himself and his teammates in traffic, showing glimpses of rare talent. He often switches as the primary ball handler, where he can show his creativity and ability to attack the basket. Defensively, he has quick hands and instincts in the passing lanes, with a great attitude and a blue-collar style. Definitely one of the brightest prospects coming from Europe in a number of years. So his biggest flaw is definitely his lack of quickness and lateral speed, which affects his effectiveness in one-on-one defense against more explosive opponents. This also limits his offense effectiveness in ISO situations when he has to rely on his body control and fakes to create the space for the shot or to draw the contact. He also does need to work on his shot consistency, especially his mechanics and foot positioning. Sometimes he lacks the killer instinct when facing weaker opponents. So for today's video, we are going to put Luka Doncic on the Sacramento Kings, the number 2 pick overall. We're going to see how exactly he fits in with the rest of the squad. The De'Aaron Fox, Willie Cauley-Stein, Buddy Hield, Bogdanovic, guys like that, man. Will Luka Doncic be a future star or a bust in the NBA? Let's go ahead and find out. Yo, what's going on, guys? KrispyFlakes here. So for today's video, we are going to see how exactly Luka Doncic fits into the starting 5 of the Sacramento Kings. And altogether, guys, how he would fit into this very young team. If you guys can do me a quick favor and drop a like on this video, if you want me to do this type of series for some other guys that are going to be drafted in the NBA, it's all going to be based off of my own personal mock draft and what I think is going to go where. But yeah, so let's go ahead and get started on this. Okay, so I think it's important to note that Luka Doncic would start at the shooting guard position, and Buddy Hield would probably be a 6-man off the bench. Buddy Hield actually played a lot of 6-man last NBA season, so I think he would definitely be okay with that. But this is what the starting lineup would probably be looking like, guys. I mean, we got De'Aaron Fox, Luka Doncic, Bogdanovic, Labissiere, and also Willie Cauley-Stein to round out the starting 5 guys. Extremely young team, man. Like, all these guys are within like 3 years of the NBA as far as like experience goes. But let's go ahead and check out some of these players and talk about how Luka Doncic would play alongside them. So I think the very most important one we want to start out with is De'Aaron Fox. So De'Aaron Fox, during the 2018 NBA season, averaged 12 points, 5 assists, and shot about 31% from 3. He does have game-changing quickness, which also Luka Doncic does lack. So in that department, he would help make up for that. Luka Doncic is kind of stiff-footed at times, where he is, not really the quickest guard, especially being 6'8". He might struggle with that. So the fact that De'Aaron Fox does have that quickness, pretty good on-ball defender, guys, it's going to be nice. I mean, he has fearless mentality attacking the rim. Now, he does need to develop that three-point shot because Luka Doncic is a ball handler, so De'Aaron Fox is going to need to learn to play off ball at times with Luka Doncic. Just how it's going to be. And if you can't make three-pointers, if you can't space it for the guy that's handling the ball, there is going to be a difficult fit right there. So while I do think that a lot of De'Aaron Fox's strengths are Luka Doncic's weaknesses and vice versa, there's going to be things that they both need to be good at the same time if this really is going to work out. So I'm looking forward to see how De'Aaron Fox works alongside Luka Doncic if this is the player that's drafted to this team. I think both guys do have that capability and that potential to really be an all-star backcourt in the future of the NBA. So for the next player we are going to check out, guys, we are actually going to look at the small forward and one of the better rookies from last NBA season draft class, Bogdanovic. So last NBA season, he averaged 12 points on nearly 40% from 3. Also proved to be a capable assist man, dishing out 3 assists per game and 3 rebounds. He is 6'6", so it would actually be kind of nice to have Luka Doncic on this team alongside him because 6'6" for the small forward position. Typically, guys are around 6'7", 6'8", so I'm not saying he's really lacking height there, just not the typical height for a small forward. So Luka Doncic being 6'8" and potentially growing even taller than that will help kind of complement that defensively, because yes, these guys can be good on-ball defenders or bad on-ball defenders, but when it comes down to it, man, length is still important in the NBA, so that does help make up for that quite a bit right there. But what does Bogdan need to exactly do to really play nicely alongside Luka Doncic? Well, he already is a pretty elite mid-range and three-point shooter. He has potential to be even better than that, man. Like, this dude really went off when it came to shooting last season. Thing about him, though, is that he does need to improve on slashing to the basket and finishing. I feel like when you have two playmakers in the backcourt in Fox and Doncic, they are going to find you on those cuts. You just have to be willing to do it. Sometimes his shot IQ was a little bit shaky at times. Now that does come with experience, but also what he really needs to learn how to do is simply play off the basketball. He needs to be that guy that can, spot up and do things along those lines, and just like running off screens. You know what I'm saying, man? Because he is a great off the dribble shooter. There's no doubt about that. He did handle the basketball a lot, for the Sacramento Kings, but that will not be priority number one when it comes to running this offense through this coach and everything like that. He is going to want to run the offense through Luka Doncic and also De'Aaron Fox. And sadly, Bogdan is going to be the odd man out there, but he still has potential to really produce elsewhere, and that will be playing off ball and, knocking down three-pointers and stuff like that. Okay, next up, let's check out this front court. Let's go ahead and look at Skal Labissiere. So Skal is like 6'9", 6'10", something along those lines. Can be a pretty decent shooter at times. Last NBA season, he averaged 9 points and 5 rebounds. He shot 35% from three, which was actually down 3% because his rookie season, he shot 38%. So he definitely has that capability of being a really solid three-point shooter, which is exactly what he's going to need to do for this team out there. I mean, he needs to be that pick-and-pop player that can play off with Doncic or De'Aaron Fox at times. He also has a pretty promising post game. So, if you can get him in that post with that nice little hook shot fadeaway game, that's going to help space the floor. For the one reason that De'Aaron Fox is not the greatest shooter. So you definitely want other players around them to be able to shoot nicely. But yeah, so he could pretty much feed very nicely off of Luka Doncic's playmaking abilities, would help space the floor, and like I was saying, would just help with the shooting category, which De'Aaron Fox does like at times. Although I do think, I don't know, man, I think Fox, with Doncic in the backcourt, I am roasting the three a lot or anything like that. But I mean, De'Aaron Fox, I remember in college, shot 75% from the free throw. So anytime you are a good free throw shooter, it means that you can be a promising three-point shooter. I mean, look at guys like Rajon Rondo, just bad at shooting free throws. That correlates with his bad three-point shooting ability. So De'Aaron Fox, I think it's just something he needs to develop to really, help out Labissiere, Bogdanovic, and Luka Doncic on this team. I think it'd be kind of fun to watch, guys. So I think it's going to come in time. All right, and finally, the center of this team, Willie Cauley-Stein. If you want a player that is in a great situation, because De'Aaron Fox and Luka Doncic, I don't want to make this comparison, man. I know I'm kind of oversaying things here big time, but damn, dude, are you thinking that maybe we got a little Chris Paul, James Harden future backcourt thing going on right here? I mean, I always say, because Doncic, they say his play style in Europe is actually pretty similar to James Harden. With Fox, I see more of a Mike Conley than anything, not really a Chris Paul, but that's just my humble opinion on that. But regardless, both those guys are playmakers, so playing with Willie Cauley-Stein, Cauley-Stein's job needs to be that athletic 7-foot big guy in the middle, like a Clint Capella or a DeAndre Jordan, and he has the perfect opportunity to do that. He's extremely athletic, he can catch the lobs, he has decent hands. He would need to work on his post game a little bit. I definitely want to see him develop a nice little hook shot, just so, Luka Doncic get into that basket, or really just off the pick and rolls and everything like that, being able to post up Willie Cauley-Stein and just dish him the ball on the little outlet pass. I think that would be a big improvement to the offense overall, would really help, space the floor for him and other guys out there. Last NBA season, he did average 13 points and 7 rebounds. He also had about 50% field goal percentage. Now, if he can kind of not rely so much on the mid-range game, he even tried shooting some three-pointers, then along those lines, he would be a lot better going forward. He just really needs to work on the inside game and be that type of center. Now, that being said, if you can get the mid-range game going at around, I don't know, man, make about 50% of them, you're good to go then. So yeah, and like I was saying, guys, for the rest of the lineup right here, we got Buddy Hield, we got Coach Kufos. This team is still a long ways away, man. This team is a long ways away. Here are some of the other players on the team, and a few others that were kind of just added by 2K because we are in the next NBA season. Also, you got Harry Giles out there too, so we don't really know what he can be, because he was supposed to be a top-notch player, except he had ACL injury or something like that going back to his college days. So this is the starting five. I think it looks pretty promising. I do think this team is not a playoff team yet. Doncic is going to take time in the NBA to adjust to the pace, being 6'8", a little bit slower compared to some other guards out there. Athleticism definitely not a strong point. But guys, we are going to simulate the season, see just how good this team can do, see how good Luka Doncic does alongside the rest of the squad out there. So I'm going to predict, you know, what they had, man, last season. I forgot what they had last season, probably around like, it was low, man, like around like mid-20 wins on the season. I'll say they probably get that in the 30 range. I'm going to say this team potentially 32 wins on the NBA season, so let's go ahead and simulate and see just how good or bad Luka Doncic and the Sacramento Kings can really do. Okay, so a record of 26-55, one more game against the Golden State Warriors. It is important to note that last NBA season, the Kings did go 27-55, so pretty much, guys, the same exact record right there, one less win on the season. But these are what the stats are look like. Let's see if Doncic, he knocked a rookie year that actually went to DeAndre Ayton. Looks like he went to the Dallas Mavericks. I have him going to the Phoenix Suns. But we do have De'Aaron Fox getting the most improved player. So it's important to know here that, you know, in this case, I mean, is Luka Doncic right away going to be that big of a game changer where it's going to be like plus 20 in the win column? No, man, it's going to come down to the rest of the team developing. It's going to come down to, you know, free agent signings and just kind of getting lucky when it comes to later picks like in the second round of the draft and things along those lines. So let's go ahead, though, check out these player stats, these team stats, and kind of see like where things did go. I don't want to say wrong. This team is so young, guys. I mean, probably about 3 or 4 or 5 seasons away, realistically speaking. So from a point per game standpoint, they were next to last in the NBA and scoring at 102 points per game. A lot of that comes down to, I'll probably say, the inconsistency of scale. Willie Cauley-Stein needs to improve in that category. De'Aaron Fox needs to continue improving when it comes to his offense in different ways he can score. Really curious what type of numbers Luka Doncic did put up. But points allowed per game, so we were actually also the 6th worst defensive team in the NBA. Definitely not a good recipe. Once again, man, defense comes in times, and a lot of that comes down to coaching. Field goal percentage was not there. That means that there was bad shots taken, 3-point attempts. So we took 22 of them on a game. We shot about, what, 39% roughly. So we were actually 7th in the NBA in three-point shooting. That's a good step in the right direction because three-point shooting definitely takes over the game of basketball at times, just as the Golden State Warriors, right? But here we go. Let's go ahead and check out these player stats. So Luka Doncic in his first NBA season at 21 points and 6 assists with getting about 3 rebounds per game. He shot 17 times a game, about 45% field goal percentage, 3-point percentage around 39%. Those are elite numbers, man, for his first NBA season. Coming from the Euro League, not to mention that. You also got De'Aaron Fox at 17 points, 6 assists, and 1 steal. Buddy Hield, 14 points. And the nice thing about this, too, is that when this team does need more offense, I mean, De'Aaron Fox at point guard, Buddy Hield at shooting guard, you could run Luka Doncic probably at the 3 spot, so that would be a nice little fit. Scales, scoring went up a little bit, rebounding at about 7 a game, 3-point percentage. Didn't even take 1 3 a season. He definitely needs to keep on doing that, man. About 32%, so maybe not in that case if he's shooting like that. Willie Cauley-Stein, 10 points, 9 rebounds, 3 assists. Played some nice defense, too. This is kind of disappointing, man. Bogdanovic here, man. Check out his stats from last NBA season. I know I talked about it earlier, but I guess it's not that much of a jump. I thought this dude averages a lot more points. That 3-point percentage, like, that's trash. How you going to go from 39% to 32% just like that, bro? You have that 3-point stroke. We've seen it. That's your job, man. You got to make those 3 points. That's the only way this team has any real chance to be successful out there. But overall, Luka Doncic on this team, it's like he is going to be a big-time player, I think, man. I really do think he's going to be. I know a lot of people kind of write off Euro players most of the time, but 21 points in this first season, I definitely will say that the Kings will take that. Let me know in the comment section below, guys, what type of season you think Luka Doncic is going to have if he's drafted by the Sacramento Kings, or if you guys think they should draft somebody else. Thank you all so much for watching. Let me know which player and team I should do next, and peace out, my friends.